Hi, friends. Good evening to you. And let me begin the show for today on a very interesting subject and a concept. Basically, I really enjoyed our conversation on habits, as did our corroboree. In fact, I feel that we should take some requests from our corroboree on which areas of self mastery they would like us to explore. If any of you have any suggestions on areas of interest, please let us know. Lena and I would be happy to serve your request, friends.
So, in fact, last week Surja posed a question, and this has prompted my looking at exploring the science of motivation, and we will be doing that in one of our Moonshot conversations.
Fantastic. So thanks, Surja, to you. And that would be something that would be of interest to all of us. So today we are talking about the power of belief.
So, yes, and I told you the story of Pollyanna when we discussed optimism as a mindset and
Yes.
the glad game. So, here's another story I'm going to tell you. Once upon a time, there was a young man who dreamed of becoming a knight for King Arthur's Knights of the Round Table. Before he could become a knight, he had to pass a test. He had to slay a dragon. He was scared to death and met Merlin the magician because someone told him that Merlin has a magic sword. To cut a long story short, after
Mhm.
slaying the dragon, he realizes that all he actually had was an ordinary sword. And he looked at it in amazement. Merlin, this isn't the same sword you showed me last week. This isn't the beautiful gilded magic sword. It's just an ordinary sword. Merlin nodded and said, there is no magic sword. The magic is in believing.
Fantastic. So this reminds me of what Henry Ford said. If you believe you can or you believe you cannot, either way, you're correct. It is the thinking that makes it so.
So, some people talk down the power of belief. They say things like believing won't automatically mean you'll get the result that you want.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they may be right. But one thing is certain, not believing that something is possible will prevent you from venturing to achieve it in the first place.
So, while believing won't automatically get you results you want, self doubt will definitely not get you the desired results.
A belief effect is simply a positive reframing of the placebo effect. We've
Mhm.
spoken about the placebo effect and we all know what it means. And we know that it works. That people in tests given a sugar pill as a placebo instead of an actual chemical drug are
Mhm.
cured of what ails them. When someone believes that something is going to work, it works, even if that something in question is little more than a sugar pill. We have seen enough research done in this area. The actual success of a medical intervention on a patient depends on a patient's belief in it. The placebo effect is so widely proven, and not
Mhm.
just with pills. The British Medical Journal has published a study that fake surgeries are as effective as real ones in treating a variety of conditions from angina to arthritis.
Wow, fantastic. That's awesome, Lena. We are joined by a couple of friends. Edna, hi, good evening to you. Paul Ritesh, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Sandeep Pote, Sangeeta Kamath. So, friends, we'll look forward not only to your comments, but your questions. And I'm sure you'll be getting something interesting and exciting in return. So, please be liberal with your questions and keep asking questions. So, Lena, the placebo effect works through a strong psychological belief, and just that belief can cause the body to heal. The mind is that powerful, and the mind body connection. Research has shown us again and again that the mind body connection is strong.
So, if you believe deeply that some sort of aid is going to help you, or that you're
Mhm.
going to nail a performance, odds are your physiology and neurology will actually change to help you to do just that. In other words, confidence and belief are the most powerful tools, and this holds true far beyond, the sports arena where we've heard about it so often. Studies
Mhm.
have found that a woman's performance on mathematical tests is
Mhm.
strongly correlated with her belief about women and math. So when women are told that men are better at math, which is a common but false stereotype, they score
Mhm.
much lower than if they are told that women are equally or more capable.
So, this reminds me of this profound example of belief that while many runners came within just a few seconds, no one could break the sub 4 minute mile barrier for years. And then in 1944, Sir Roger Bannister ran 3 minutes 59.4 seconds and broke that uh, previous record. And within a month, John Landy had lowered the world record to 3 minutes and 57 seconds. And within 3 years, a barrier that had not been touched in the history of a man had so many runners break it again and again.
So that's the power of belief, right? The only thing that changed was Bannister's belief that he could run the mile under 4 minutes, even though people said it was humanly impossible. And, once he did it, this belief gave other runners a reason to believe humans could run so fast. So
Yes.
this is the immense power of belief. The belief can move the human potential to do so much, and it can work both ways. In Dr. Bruce Lipton's book that I'm reading, The Biology of Belief, he writes of a man who was told that he would die of cancer shortly. And he did. What is interesting, though, for us, and what became fatal for him, is that when an autopsy was done, it showed while he had cancer, he didn't have anywhere near enough cancer to die of it. And yet, that's exactly what happened.
So this man died of the placebo effect, Lina?
So no, so that the placebo effect is what when you get given a sugar pill to make you better. The other direction is known as the nocebo effect.
Oh, wow. So the placebo effect and the nocebo effect are equally powerful and work on the concept of self-fulfilling prophecy, Lina?
Yes, and this is a true story I'm telling you. It's by Joe Marchant, a microbiologist, and he's an award-winning journalist and author of a book called Cure. Imagine this: a man participated in a clinical trial, right? And he was given sugar pills instead of antidepressants. His belief, though, is he's on antidepressants. After a fight with his girlfriend, in an attempt to commit suicide, he swallowed all the antidepressants. He was rushed to a hospital with a racing heart and plummeting blood pressure. The symptoms are those of somebody who had taken antidepressants. But these symptoms only subsided when the doctor told him that the only overdose that he actually had was a sugar one.
Oh, wow. So the mind can limit your body's potential or expand it. So tell us how this power of belief affects how we experience life. I was reading the fact that our experience of something is affected by how we perceive it. One common example is the fact that people will like a bottle of wine more if they think it's expensive.
Absolutely. And it seems like most logical people, if you ask the question, right, is your experience actually affected by the price? They would say no. They would imagine that their intelligence would not allow this to happen.
So that is the power of the mind, not just being spoken about by new age gurus, but backed by science, friends. A belief is a powerful element of performance. If you believe you can, you will. If you believe you can't, then you won't. Belief is a powerful trigger.
Which is why I keep asking parents and teachers to be mindful of the labels they slap onto children. Shy, naughty, mean, destructive. These can all become powerful beliefs that become self-fulfilling prophecies. If we know this about the power of belief, then let's use this in a way that helps our kids. Instead of restless, say you're active. Instead of rebellious, say you're a real independent thinker.
Fantastic. So, Lina, lots of comments. A couple of people have joined us. Thank you, Ravi Salunke, Shrikant Nibandhe, Vinita. Divya has a question. Does growth mindset link with belief?
Absolutely. So if you believe you've got a growth mindset, then you will. If you don't believe you've got a growth mindset, if you believe that people are born with a fixed mindset, it's equally powerful.
Thank you, Josna. Loved the placebo effect is her comment. Josna Balaji. There is a question from Sandeep Pote. How to develop power of belief and stick to it?
Listen to us. Do the journal work. There's a couple of videos in the journal as well. And keep on ingraining this. And through this conversation itself, you'll get some powerful tools.
Fantastic. So, friends, the power of perception should be used by all of us caring for children. The fact is that as a teacher or a parent, telling our children that they can do something makes it far more likely that they will actually do something. Lina, we too would have our labels in our childhood given to be by us by our parents or teachers. So what do we do with the ones that are not serving us?
So first of all, find a tribe like ours, our corroboree, that's positive and uplifting. So anyone who's actually watching us today, we know that looking to uplift themselves and others. They actually believe in a growth mindset. They believe in the power of belief. Otherwise, they wouldn't be watching. So these are the kinds of people that you should make part of your tribe. These are the friends you should surround yourself with.
Mhm.
We know today that our brains, even in adulthood, have plasticity. Our
Mhm.
brains have the power to change.
Mhm.
We know to a very large extent that we have complete control over who we
Mhm.
want to be, and we can mold ourselves accordingly. So take the necessary step of forming a strong set of beliefs about yourself. The
Okay.
journal will help you, and
Mhm.
make this new set of beliefs your new reality.
Fantastic. So this connects to the concept of growth mindset and the belief that there is a lot you can do to expand and grow and improve yourself.
Exactly what Divya was asking. And there's a proven way of doing this. So there's a psychological phenomenon known as cognitive dissonance.
Mhm.
So I'll explain what that means. If so far you've been labeled negatively, and
Mhm.
this has formed your belief, or you hold a belief that you're a certain way because of your past experience of failure. So that you say, for instance, you're holding a negative belief, and you choose a positive belief that's the opposite of this,
Mhm.
you will have internal conflict or dissonance,
Mhm.
which is not comfortable for your brain, right?
Mhm.
When
Mhm.
this happens, you'll either choose to go to the old belief, or you'll
Mhm.
reshape your behavior or habits to reflect the new chosen belief.
So I can see how this would work, and it connects to the video in the last week's journal, which had this example actually. So say the label you have lived out so far is shy, and you want to shift this to social and outgoing. Dressing well was a keystone habit you could choose to pick up, right? That in itself would have you feeling more confident to socialize and exercise, and basically you keep faking till you make it to this new label of social and outgoing. So what would you
Absolutely.
comment on that, Lina? Yeah.
Absolutely. So whoever asked that question before, Agnel Rajesh just gave you an answer. So there's nothing that motivates like success. So when you dress up and you step out, you naturally walk more confidently, and then people react to you differently. As
Mhm.
you see one instance of success and you hold the memory of that, and then
Mhm.
the next instance of success and you hold the memory of that, each
Mhm.
memory serves to solidify your new identity belief. Just
Okay.
like the habit neural pathway we spoke about last week. So you
Mhm.
lay down these pathways. Each time you have an experience or a memory for the new identity you have chosen,
Mhm.
new neural pathways, belief pathways, and patterns of thinking will get established and replace the old ones.
Fantastic. So, Lena, our corroboree is very active today. There are lots of comments and they're asking a lot of questions. We will take these questions with short answers so that we can cover as many questions as possible. Sandesh Rahul, how to maintain belief? A very short question.
If you've got a good belief or a
Mhm.
bad belief, if you
Mhm.
keep on believing in it, you'll maintain it.
Fantastic. Jaya Parekh is asking, what are the strategies to develop desirable beliefs?
So you have to think about where you are and where you want to be, and you have to believe that you're already there, and you have to believe, and you have to think about that with all the emotions completely in frame. Because as we've mentioned before, your mind cannot differentiate between an imagined feeling, experience, or belief, or a real meaning, feeling, or belief.
Fantastic. Jaya, thank you for your comment that you love our journals. We really work hard on them. Uh, Sudhir has got a very interesting comment where he's saying that Lena is a living example of how a belief can make a person transform the world around you and make a difference. She believed and did transform the world around her. Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you so much. There is another question from Divya. Do we inherit beliefs from our parents? Are they genetic?
So beliefs are not genetic, but yes,
Mhm.
we do inherit beliefs, values, etc., from our parents, through the way that they act and they speak and the experiences that they give us. But
Okay.
you can change them. Every parent is one step away from breaking any negative pattern to a positive one.
Fantastic. So Ravi has a question there. Ravi Salunke with his question, and the question is: there are many beliefs those get created unconsciously which limit us. How to create new beliefs or replace the old limiting beliefs?
So exactly what I said. So they may be unconsciously, but you consciously choose a new belief. That
Mhm.
doesn't have to be unconscious. You can consciously choose the new way you want to be, the new belief you want to be. And as I said, you just have to keep on thinking of that new belief with all the imagination and all the intensity of already being there.
Fantastic. So, Amul Patil, this also gets your question answered indirectly on how to reframe beliefs. So, friends, we all have the power to change our belief system and reinvent who we are with the power of belief.
So there's a fascinating book called Psycho-Cybernetics by
Mhm.
Maxwell Maltz. He's a cosmetic surgeon and someone who studies human psychology. His conclusion is that our self-image, even, or belief, is the cornerstone of our mental state, and therefore the bedrock of all successes and failures that happen in our lives. So I wake up every day believing I'm beautiful, believing I'm really young, and believing I have all the energy I need to complete whatever I want to complete.
Absolutely. I absolutely believed whatever you said about yourself right now. So a teacher, parent, friend, or you yourself could help you develop a mental portrait that defines who you are. And this becomes the basis of our personality. As you said, the power of perception should be used by all of us caring for children. The fact is that as a teacher or as a parent, telling our children that they can do something makes it more likely that they actually will do something.
Absolutely. And Divya said this before, and even with my people that I work with, I have absolute belief that, and they know that I have absolute belief in them. And this is not a pressure point. It's just that it makes them believe in themselves and actually go out and do what they need to do. So imagine the difference between having a judgmental, negative parent or teacher or mentor or boss or whoever, or a positive, uplifting one. The huge challenge is that once a child adopts a negative belief, this becomes a limitation for a child for all his future decisions
Mhm.
of who they are and what they're capable of.
Mhm.
Maltz, the guy I spoke about earlier, he says that we're hypnotized by negative beliefs, which aren't
Mhm.
a result of facts or experiences, rather the conclusions you draw from them.
Mhm.
He excites people to use the power of imagination to reach a new way of thinking about yourself, which is why Amol or anybody else, how to reframe beliefs is actually use your imagination to reach a new way of thinking about yourself.
Fantastic. So Vinita Melwani has a very interesting question. Today's generation do not have trust in our belief. They think absolutely different, and that sometimes shakes our beliefs. So how do we stick to our belief, Lena?
So anything you do, Vinita, whether it's the generation or you,
Mhm.
anything you do, whether it's a thought, a belief, a value, you have to think about whether it's moving you forward or it's keeping you stuck.
Mhm.
And that goes for your kids. So I've not actually understood your complete question, but your children are not mini versions of you. They are completely free to have their own sets of values, their own sets of beliefs, and their own sets of thoughts.
So Meghna has a question. Meghna Parekh, how to get rid of negative beliefs?
I've just shown you how. I've already spoken about it. You
Yes.
take you take a belief that's holding you back. You think of what you would need to have as a belief that will move you forward, and you start feeling that belief with real intensity and imagination as though that's who you really are. This can be for your physical self. If you want to be a thinner version of yourself, start imagining you're a thinner version of yourself. And subconsciously, when you keep on imagining this, you will find that the foods you select and the activities you select will change.
Fantastic. Shubhangi Tirodkar, thank you so much. Belief and action together only will give results. That's our comment from Shubhangi Tirodkar. Lina, I remember you saying in one of our Moonshot conversations that brain does not distinguish between imagination and reality, but acts based on the information we send through our thoughts. So logically, we can imagine a new version of ourselves by describing this new image and belief to our brain, which in turn will find a way to make this new version true, isn't it?
Absolutely. So, this is exactly what I've been saying all this time. The human system cannot tell the difference between experiences that we imagine and
Mhm.
ones that actually occur. As a result, the human system reacts according to what we believe or imagine to be true. There's an interesting piece of research done by Dr. Siegel, researching people with multiple personality disorders, which means one person has got multiple personalities, and each one
Mhm.
can pop up at any given time. It's an illness. Incredibly, but what he found is that based on the personality adopted by the person who has all these multiple personalities, the
Mhm.
actual physical biochemistry would change depending on the person they were in that moment. So it's the same body, it's the same brain, it's the same person, but because I've got different beliefs, I've got different personalities in my head, depending who I am in that moment, my biochemistry changes. People changing, physical marks changing, and even things like blood sugar levels and blood pressure changing based on the beliefs of each personality. I mean, that's uncanny.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, Lina, there is a question from Nitin Munot. What's the contribution of belief in our life?
Absolutely everything. Every thought forms a belief of who you are, and that belief is self-fulfilling. So whoever you believe you are is what you'll become.
Fantastic. So I'll take a last question from this lot. There are plenty of questions just rolling in. And thank you, Lina, for all the short answers so that we can cover more questions. There is a question from Madan Mohan Bhatt. What is the difference between believers and seekers' behavior with others?
What is the difference between believers
and seekers' behaviors with others?
So I don't. Do you understand the question?
Not exactly. But I feel it must be the belief systems of believers and seekers. Is there a difference between them?
Madan, if you could just reframe your question for me, please.
Yeah, because I think that will be.
Yeah, I've not quite understood it. If you could just reframe it, so you're asking me a specific question, then I can perhaps answer it.
Sure. So your beliefs have the power to change your inner state and therefore your outer world, friends. The beliefs you have impact how you see yourself, and this will have immense power over your actions and so to your outer world. So we come back to the concept of your inner world creates your outer reality. We have covered these topics multiple times in previous Moonshot Conversations also. And when you believe in yourself, you give your thoughts and actions a lot of potential. So thinking back on the Moonshot Conversations about the subconscious mind, I remember that if you have a belief that money is the root of all evil, you will never gain financial abundance. Friends, that your subconscious belief will override your thinking that you want wealth. I think the most important takeaway for me today is that it is important to believe that you deserve to become the best version of yourself and happier and more successful. In fact, I'm now connecting dots between so many of our Moonshot Conversations. Beliefs can either make you grow or keep you away from moving forward. It is important to have a spirit of optimism, use the power of visualization, goal setting, and take actions that become habitual. So, Lina, what we have on Moonshot Conversation is an entire self-mastery course in a way.
It absolutely is. Definitely a powerful look at the power of your mind. Knowing that thoughts are things and powerful, that the potential of the mind is immense, that your thoughts can physically influence events. Our human potential is limited or expanded to the extent of our beliefs about who we are and what we want to accomplish.
Fantastic. So, Lina, we began this journey the last week of June 2020, and now it is the 11th of October today. So, we have well over 3 months from the start line. I know I'm seeing progress in my journey, and I have seen some breakthroughs in my personal development as well, since I regularly and sincerely download the journals and I do the journals very religiously. What I'm most excited about is that I now measure my life in moments, and I'm determined to maximize all the moments. Lina, I have achieved success before we began this journey together. But what I love now is the mindfulness and the awareness in what actually works, and is us together applying this to the work that we have embarked on together. We have embarked this journey together in such a very interesting way. The most powerful understanding I hear again and again is the power of my thoughts in shaping the trajectory of my life, Lina.
Yeah, and Agnel Rajesh, today you spoke about the 4-minute mile. Last week we spoke about Arnold Schwarzenegger and his belief that he could become Mr. Universe at the time when he was 15 and a skinny little kid in Austria. One of the things that beliefs power you with is persistence. Mm-hmm. Arnold persisted when people ridiculed him. Beliefs give you this power to say that I will find a way. You can only fail if you shift your belief and give up. Right? So Wilbur and Orville Wright, the two brothers, believed that they could make men fly. They believed this without any formal education. And despite other people believing that it was impossible to fly, belief and action, as somebody said today on the post, is so powerful. You know, the quote you said earlier by Henry Ford about the power of belief is an apt one because he has seen it in action. The V8 was built despite his banker believing that the horse is here to stay and automobiles are just a fad. We heard the story of Roger Bannister, this belief and determination, showing mankind that limitations exist only in the mind and not anywhere else. These people were possessed by their beliefs. And their belief in themselves and their potential and acting through these teaches us so much about the power of belief.
Absolutely, Nila. And today our corroboree is so active. Jaya Parekh, thank you so much for your wonderful and such a lovely comment. And there are so many comments from other people as well. Ravi Salunke has a question. Can we use affirmations to create beliefs?
Absolutely, we can. We can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Divya Punjabi, let us collectively believe we will come out of this pandemic with raised consciousness, having gratitude and being minimalistic. That's a very powerful thought, Divya. Thank you so much. So I think it is important to emphasize the power of belief in the self and the belief in our goals and arm this with persistent action. That action is critically important. So there is a story that I heard from a man who kept saying that I'm a millionaire because I believe myself in being a billionaire, in being a millionaire. To which a child retorted and said that, yes, you are a millionaire. That is why you believe in yourself. In fact, both are true. This is something that we can keep growing in loops. You believe and you achieve. You achieve and you believe. So it's a sequence that keeps on going, Leena.
Absolutely. So, to summarize, the first step to achieving anything great is to have incredible self belief. Combined with action and perseverance, it is what actually makes things happen. Of course, all the other Moonshot conversations are linked here because, you know, somewhere you'll need a growth mindset to learn and grow the skills you need. So in some way we started with goals, then needs, then values,
Mhm,
then habits,
mhm,
then
mhm.
actions you will habitually take to move you towards your goal values and that align with your goals.
So I'm amazed by today's conversation, Lena. I knew about the power of belief, but today I understand its power so much more. So to know what belief can take you from, we have all understood during these conversations and these interesting comments and questions from the audience, Lena, that belief can take you from sick to being well or otherwise in an instant change in belief by just making ourselves believe in that. So to know that it can impact your immune system is so soothing because you know you can get it done just by changing your thinking patterns. That beliefs can either give us the resolve to take action or weaken and destroy our drive and motivation. So Lena, seeing that beliefs become unquestioned commands to our nervous system and have the power to expand or destroy our potential and possibilities of our present and future, how could we take more conscious control over our beliefs, Lena?
So a belief is just a deep feeling of certainty about something. If I
Mhm.
say I'm creative and then I have a deep feeling of certainty about being creative, this sense of certainty about being creative will automatically have me tapping into creative reserves and create creative results and creative outcomes. Each creative result I have, or every time someone says something positive about my creativity, solidifies the belief in my brain that I'm creative. Right? So it's
Mhm.
that loop you were talking about. The trick is to keep emotionally feeling each reference point or experience that I have about my creativity to make the belief as strong as it can be.
Okay. Okay. So, Lena, this is about belief in the self, and this is a very positive one. What about external beliefs about others or the world?
So it works in exactly the same way for a negative belief about the self.
Mhm.
Um, if I believe that I'm a procrastinator and have deep feelings about being a procrastinator, then the sense of certainty will automatically having me tapping into resources that have me procrastinate. The same about a world belief that you asked about, or belief about others. If I believe essentially that people are kind or that
Mhm.
people are mean,
Mhm.
this will have me focusing on the experiences of people being kind or being mean. And it will only strengthen that belief. This happens because we humans have what is known as a confirmation bias.
And what is a confirmation bias, Lena?
So it's a tendency we all have to favor information that confirms our existing beliefs. And
Mm-hmm.
every time we confirm an existing belief, it strengthens our self esteem. We
Mm-hmm.
naturally give more weight to things that confirm our beliefs and either ignore or undervalue things that don't align with our existing beliefs. So people look for information that supports their existing beliefs. So whether you believe in gun control or not,
Okay.
or whether you think COVID is a deadly virus or a little more than the flu, you will notice the information more often that's backed by evidence and science.
Yeah, Lina, we lost you for a minute. If you can just repeat the last statement.
So, so all I'm saying is, say for instance, this time of the COVID, if
Mm-hmm.
you believe that COVID is a deadly virus, or you
Okay.
believe it's a little bit more than the flu, what you will notice is you will start noticing information that confirms whichever belief you have.
Fantastic. So this would then give us more reference points and evidence to strengthen our beliefs. So in reality, everything is distorted by the human lens or human perspective or
Yeah.
human pre-existing beliefs, Lina. Is it so?
Yes, but this is also where human power comes in, Agnella Rajesh.
Okay.
Your beliefs and how you assemble them are limitless.
Mm-hmm.
They can have powerful negative consequences, but you can change your beliefs by finding enough reference points to create new empowering beliefs that propel
Mm-hmm.
you forward to who you want to be and where you want to go. Um, I did this as an experiment as a teacher in Australia. A
Mm-hmm.
child in my English class who was not doing well and came to me as a D grade student throughout her 7 years of schooling. She came to my class. I arbitrarily gave her her first C plus she'd
Mm-hmm.
ever received. And even though her paper warranted a D, her
Mm-hmm.
next submission that she gave me came in as a C, and I gave her a
Mm-hmm.
B. Do you know that she eventually became an A grade student in my class?
Wow. So that story, Lina, says it all about the power of our beliefs and human potential. So just giving a child better reference points can change the trajectory of the child's life.
Absolutely. There's a powerful a term known as learned helplessness. So she
Mm-hmm.
came to me with this feeling of learned helplessness that she may as well not put anything in because she wasn't going to get anything more than a D. When
Mm-hmm.
people experience enough failure, like this girl and her English, they perceive their efforts as futile and develop a sort of terminal discouragement of learned helplessness. The
Mm-hmm.
moment she had a glimmer of hope
Mm-hmm.
that her D grade was not permanent, and
Mm-hmm.
and that she had some power, her
Mm-hmm.
belief patterns began to shift. This
Mm-hmm.
success in English transferred to her lifting of her grades in all other subjects. She actually even started becoming better looking just because of the power of her belief in her abilities.
Wow, fantastic. I have so much excitement after each and every Moonshot conversation. I'm so excited about the launch of Corroboree, which is just around the corner. That's our platform. And this is like dipping the toe in the vast sea of self mastery. And I'm looking forward to being able to access all the tools and resources on the Corroboree platform, which will be very shortly available to the entire world. So yet again, we have run out of time, Lena, as always, because our conversations are so very interesting with the engagement of our Corroboree supporting us. So where to next, Lena? So what do we explore next Sunday at 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time?
So next Sunday we move from the power of beliefs to the
Mm-hmm.
power of the story. Uh,
Oh.
the, and this is mainly because the week after that, on Sunday the
Mm-hmm.
18th, we have
Mm-hmm.
a very special guest, Andrew Newman. He's the
Mm-hmm.
author of Conscious Stories for Children. I have interviewed Andrew for Corroboree,
Mm-hmm.
and his stories are not only delightful, but also written
Mm-hmm.
to explore creativity, mindfulness, happiness, and consciousness.
Fantastic. So, friends, we will meet you again on next Sunday at 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And thank you so much. And there are comments pouring in, questions pouring in. Thank you, Jaya Parekh, Edna Fernandez, Madan Mohan Bhatt, Ravi Salunke, and new names is Sonali Jaydare, Vinita Melwani, Sandesh Raul. There is such a lot of interaction. Paul Ritesh, there is so much of excitement on the platform at the moment on Facebook Live, Lina. So many comments, and I promise on behalf of Lina that she would be responding to each comment and each unanswered question. The ones that she has answered are already answered, but the ones which are yet to be answered, Leela will surely put in efforts and replied to those questions. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, great Sunday evening. And we will be in touch, and we'll see you again on next Sunday at 5 p.m. on the new topic that Lena has just announced. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, especially Sudhir, Divya, Vinita, Sonali. Thank you all very much for being there. You light up my heart.
Thank you.